This can be done, doesn't matter where in the world I am, which is quite important. And we have this push technology, you know, so it's a two-way communication. It's not just one way, you know, so it's not the phones are constantly pinging the servers asking, is there any new information for me? It goes the other way around. Servers push the information when there is something interesting. Okay, so as I mentioned, there are two ways that you can develop applications for BlackBerry. So I'm going to talk about Java development first. And BlackBerry smartphone is built on Java technology. So everything, every single API, internal API, everything is written in Java. Okay? So we support standards MIT-P 2.1 and CLDC 1.1. So that's this blue bit here. But since our phones are so advanced, that they have so many capabilities, just standard Java ME, it can't do it. You know, it's not enough. So we had to write our own APIs. And every time, you know, you saw on that slide when we released new software, we add more BlackBerry APIs. So there are probably 4 or 5 times more BlackBerry APIs than Java APIs, which basically utilize every single thing on the device that you can do. But those two work together to create those Java applications for you. So with Java, what can you do? Well, you can develop, obviously, rich custom client applications that provide you all this. So the user interface, you can customize any way you see fit, you know. You can store the data on the device using file system or persistent storage or even SQLite databases. You can listen to pretty much any event on the device and your application can react to those events. Even if your application is not running, it can still be notified. You know, the device will wake it up and say, well, there you go, this happened, and how do you want to proceed? And as I mentioned, secured wireless transfer is there. But then we have advanced capabilities. So your applications can integrate with pretty much any other application on the device. So even native applications such as BlackBerry Mail, calendar, contact lists, phone applications, you can integrate with them, so your application can work together. Secure push services, which I'm going to cover later on. You can communicate with peripherals or Bluetooth-enabled peripherals. BlackBerry devices now have rich multimedia features. And another statistics for you is 80% of our new customers in last year, they were consumers, you know. So the idea that BlackBerry is business-only device, you know, just used for emails, that's old. Location-based services, BlackBerry Maps are on pretty much every device that we have, so you can connect to them. And we obviously have a few touchscreen smartphones, so you can use the touch events, gestures, and so on, and support for accelerometer. So I'm not going to go into details about our APIs because that's going to be too long, but I'm just going to mention few of them which are introduced in, for example, 5.0. So for the gaming developers, we introduced OpenGL, you know, so some of the phones, 8530 and Storm 2, are the first phones that support 3D hardware acceleration on them. You know, advanced data management, so I mentioned SQLite, which is quite important, so obviously you can store the data on the device in a database format. We simplified network connectivity, you know, because it was hard. We have on other phones, you have one way to communicate to the network using Web2. But on BlackBerry, you can use Web2, but you can use BizB, which is for consumers. You can use Bez, which is for enterprise. You can, you know, there are a number of different ways, and we simplified that for the developers. Also simplified is a push technology, so now it's very easy to implement this in your applications. And we improved security. We always work on security. So on 5.0, we added stuff like fingerprint data, you know, so there are APIs that can help you handle that. And now we released 6.0, so the first device, the Torch 9800, is out on sale in UK, And what does it bring? So we have a new UI, and this new UI allow you to create even better looking applications, easier. So it's much easier now to create buttons and title bars and have this pinch to zoom animations and so on. But what I am really excited and works really well is this unified search. So when you start typing, same if you are using Google to search for something, as you start typing, you get results straight away. The same thing happens on a BlackBerry. So you start typing for whatever, Andre, and it will list all the emails which consist this name, all the contacts, and every single other application which has this and registers for this service will be listed on the results page. So your third-party application can register for this service and it will be there, And when the user clicks on that, it will open up your application showing the relevant information to the user. We added support APIs for 1D and 2D barcodes, which some developers find very useful. We worked on communication APIs, so we have parsing of scripts like XML and RSS and web services, as you can see, and improved our location APIs with estimated time of arrival and Wi-Fi geolocation. So if you want to start developing for BlackBerry, obviously you need some tools. And we have our own BlackBerry Java development environment, which has been around for ages and it looks a little bit dated. So we developed a plugin for the Eclipse. Eclipse is IDE, which is probably the most popular among developers. So you can use a familiar tool, and these tools are free to download, so you don't have to pay to start developing for BlackBerry. And it also works with other IDEs. So I personally like NetBeans, and I am using NetBeans to develop BlackBerry application myself. So what can you do with these tools? Well, debugging. You can debug in the simulator, you can debug on the actual device, you can optimize the code, so you have profiling window to see the usage of CPU, network, and so on. And very important, localization support. When you build the application, you're not just building it for the UK market, you are building it for the global market, and you need to translate that application into Spanish, French, and all the other languages. And this is quite easy. So on BlackBerry, you just put a table, this is English words, these are Spanish words, French, and so on. And this is all you have to do. So when the user sets their locale to French, the application will automatically use all the entries from the French column. If they set, to Spanish, it will just change. So your application will automatically switch between languages, which is quite cool. And since we have all these different versions of software and different simulators, these tools allow you to easily create using pre-processing applications which will run on all different sizes, with the keyboard, without the keyboard, and so on. And we obviously provide you all the documentation and sample applications for this. BlackBerry simulators are very good. They very accurately describe you the behavior of the device. So, and this is what you can simulate on it. So you can simulate the network connectivity, the quality of the actual signal, battery levels. You can simulate micro SD card, GPS location. So you don't need to drive around the country with a BlackBerry in your car to test does it work, So you can just simulate the route, which is a little bit saves you time and money. Camera and so on, as you can see. But these two are very important because MDS CS simulator, this is a simulator of connecting your BlackBerry to BES, to BlackBerry Enterprise servers, so it's very important. And ESS simulator simulates your email client, so you can send and receive emails, which is, you don't need to activate BlackBerry and buy a BlackBerry Enterprise server to be able to test, does it work? And one other thing that I want to mention is since we are a very secure environment, there are APIs which are sensitive. We don't want just to allow every user to find your contact details and read your address book and all that sort of stuff. So to access these APIs, the applications need to be signed by BlackBerry code signing keys. And to register, you can go to this website, and there is an administration fee of $20 US. And we charge that only to get your credit card details, so we know who published this application, The keys don't expire. You can sign as many applications as you want with them, but they have your signature. So if your application is doing anything dodgy, okay, so the second way to develop applications for BlackBerry is web development. So why web development? Well, these are the key benefits. So you can reuse your existing development skills. So each company probably have a website and have a developer who designed that website. There you go. You can use those skills that developers have. You reuse existing development tools. So the tools that you use to build the websites, you can reuse. So is it a Dreamweaver or is it Notepad? I don't know, but they can be reused. And reuse existing web applications. What does it mean? So you already build a web application. Let's say you are British Airways or you have a web portal where people can check their flights and all that sort of stuff. They build that. And that application can be packaged and delivered as a BlackBerry application, which is a standalone application. And all this is done using well-known standards, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. There are three ways to develop web applications for BlackBerry. And first one is a BlackBerry browser. So obviously in the browser will render any web content that you point it to, and nice and easy and simple. The only thing what you probably need to do is optimize a little bit your web page, for the smaller screen sizes. There's a hybrid application. Hybrid application is a Java application which shows a window inside, which can be full screen, called browser field. In that browser field, you render HTML content and CSS and JavaScript content on this field in this window. But the good thing is that obviously since it's a Java container, that Java part of the application can access all the advanced features in the phone. And then we have BlackBerry WebWorks. So we recently announced this last month. It was called BlackBerry Widgets before, but we changed a few things and make it even better. And BlackBerry WebWorks allow you to, using web technologies, to create a standalone application which has full features such as a Java application. So on all the devices, we had a browser, and our customers were saying, your browser is not good enough. Look at this one, look at that one, it's better. Fair enough, yes, it was better, yeah. So we had to do something, and rather than adding tweaks and stuff like that, we rewrote it completely. So we acquired a WebKit, and this browser runs a WebKit engine. And WebKit is also used for the widgets and for the WebWorks application, and it's also used in emails. So the emails are rendered using HTML. So how good is this new browser? Well, probably most of you know the Asset 3, and we scored 100 out of 100, which is quite good. You can't get better. CSS 3 we fully support, so it passed all 500 whatever tests. And HTML 5, the newest standard, we scored 208 out of 300. Doesn't sound too good?